You'd be like, wow, really? Nobody's ever said that. It's like, no, dude, you're the first. Congrats.
Are you going to the SAC call?
I am. Yeah. Are you going to?
I guess so.
What's up, guys? How's everybody? What in the heck? Look at my background. This is what happens.
Where are you at?
This is what happens when you use your kid's computer. That's like last time it was like a potato head. So I guess I'm on the beach today. Anybody else want to join me with a stupid background today? That would be kind of fun. Go for it, right? Absolutely. Right? You guys are all looking good, Man, I'm gonna leave it on here because I think it's entertaining. So that, and I don't really know how to change it. So there's the other thing. How's it going, Katrina? How are you? How's it going? You're frozen. You're frozen and it looks awesome. Look at you guys. Look at Katrina. She's frozen.
Oh, it's got a great smile there. Yeah.
I missed the past couple of weeks. Oh,
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I think we're gonna have. I think Keith is gonna join
I'm
us.
frozen, huh? That means you can't hear me.
I can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
We can hear you. You just have a frozen smile.
We need to ditch that computer.
What do you mean?
Yeah. How's everybody doing? We'll give it a few minutes here and let some other people join and jump on with us here. I think Keith's going to jump on and give us the update on this forbearance news that everybody, of course, wants to shout from the rooftops, which seems to be good news. Probably is some good news, but needs a little bit of interpretation, I'd say, for sure. Let me check on him and see if he is getting close. Hey, Nee, how's it going? So, hey, Nee.
Hey, Julie. Hey, guys.
I'm going to text Keith real quick here and make sure he's jumping on. Any other lenders out there that want to pipe in on the current update on this forbearance news that has come out? If you guys know what I'm talking about. Any other lenders out there? I'm sending him a note. Hold on. Okay, so what else is going on? Anybody else have anything that they need help with or want to throw out to the group, run something by us that we can collectively answer for you guys? Anybody need help with anything? Go ahead, Chris. Let me fix
Hey guys,
my
hope
hair.
everybody's doing good. I've got a question. We're looking at a property in the Burien area that has got RS 7200 zoning. And we've been told that it was a wholesale deal that was sent out. So I'm looking at it for a client. We're curious about the zoning code in regards to changing it from residential to multifamily. Does anybody have any experience with Burien or that specific zoning code?
you want to actually have the zoning changed? If that's the case, that's a very, very unlikely thing to happen.
No, we don't want it changed. We just want to know if that we can convert the property into a multifamily based on the zoning, because it's currently, the current usage is single family.
You know, it's funny because I would go back to the wholesaler and I would say, you know, what value are they adding if they can't answer that for you, honestly, trying to sell that deal?
Yeah, actually, and I did that exact thing yesterday, called and asked them some questions, and they said, hey, I'll check up a couple of things and I'll get back to you, and I just haven't heard back from them yet, so.
Okay. Anybody have any experience down there in the Burien area? Want to weigh in on this? For Chris? Hey, Wyman. You're listening from, I know you're at the grocery store, Wyman, or you were. So you're looking just to see if you can convert that to a multifamily or a duplex or triplex or something like that. You know.
Yeah, correct. The information that we got from them just on the blast said that it could be converted up to 2 to 5 units based on the square footage and everything. So just curious if anybody in the group had any experience with that specific zoning in the Burien area, you know, before we dig real deep into the code.
Wyman, you know anything about that down there? He wants to take, what is it, just an existing single family?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. No, I've never done anything in Burien.
Okay. Anybody else in general want to talk about being able to do that in general, whether it's outside of Burien or not?
Dude, this is so awesome. I'm driving.
There you go. Cool. Well, don't announce that to the world. You might get a ticket.
Well, I have a mount, phone mount, so.
There you go. Anybody want to weigh in on this? Nobody? Nobody can answer for Chris? Chris, I think that obviously if it's even allowed, then obviously it's a permitting thing, right? And so finding out somebody that knows about the permitting related to the city of Burien or just in general, if it's even allowed, I don't have the answer for you either, but we can certainly follow up and try and get you an answer. Hopefully that wholesaler can get that answer for you if that's how he's trying to sell it, right? He should have had that answer before he put it out. That is my answer to that question.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So one thing I know though is that the city of Burien is very efficient. So if you go there or if you even call them, I'm sure they can give you an answer right away because I did something. It's not permitting, but it's like electrical, and it's just like next day permitting. So they're really efficient. Just give them a call.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I called them this morning to get some answers, and it sounds like everybody's off there today until Tuesday. So I've got to call into them, and I'll probably get a hold of somebody on Tuesday when they get back to the office.
Good stuff. Anybody else have anything that they want some assistance on or some attempted assistance on today? Anybody?
Hey, Julie, this is Gus.
Hey, Gus.
I'm not sure if this is the right forum for this, but I have a wholesale for sale. Got a wholesale contract that is up for sale. Is this the group to send it to talk about it, or?
Yeah, let's hear it. What you got?
It's in Everett. I can send it to. It's a split level in Everett. I can get you the details towards the end of the call. I just my wife is actually sending it out, and our business is split. I do one side of it, she does the other. She does the actual wholesaling side, so I'll get the details and push it onto the call a little bit later.
And is it a flip candidate or is it a burst?
It's a light flip.
Okay.
It's a pretty good rental as it is.
I actually I might have a retail buyer for that.
Okay,
which,
cool.
Katrina, I don't know. Do you have anything going on for that?
In Everett?
Yeah,
Yep.
weren't we talking
Yeah,
about?
I'd be
some other-
interested in hearing about it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and you're welcome, everybody is welcome to post their wholesale deals on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page, but you have to do it the right way, okay? And otherwise I'm just gonna delete it and I'm not gonna call you. I'm just gonna delete it. Because that protects you and it protects Joe and I from illegal wholesaling. And if you don't know what I'm talking about in that regard, you guys should all go listen to our podcast number 63, which is legal wholesaling with Jeff Watson. And you need to read that, Kevin. I know you and I are due to have a talk. Maybe we can do that after this today. But what that means is if you have a wholesale deal and you want to put it on Seattle Investors Club Facebook page, you just need to say, hey, everybody, I have a contract for sale, you know, in the whatever neighborhood in Everett. It's 3 bedrooms and two bathrooms. And the estimated ARV is this, estimated rehab is this, and purchase price, including assignment fee, is this. If you'd like more information, please let me know, okay? Don't post the address, don't post pictures of it, because you don't own that property, and that's illegal wholesaling. You know, you're selling a contract, you're not selling a house, and that's very, very important. We have some of our biggest, you know, some of the biggest people that I have learned from on legal wholesaling kind of starting to say, and Larry and Mariska can nod their heads on this, that wholesaling and assignments might be something that is going to be super scrutinized here going forward. So if you're going to be doing that, you absolutely need to be doing it legally, because, you know, at least my tribe here, we are the play by the rules tribe. We're no cowboys or cowgirls here, and that protects you and it protects us from getting in trouble, you know, from people that are watching to make sure that we're doing things correctly. And we know how to do things correctly, so we should just do them correctly. It's not that difficult, okay? So that's what I have to say, because there are more and more wholesale deals getting, I see it's picking up a bit. And we're gonna talk to Keith here in a minute about the forbearance thing. Some news there, but if anybody wants to know more about legal wholesaling and how to post those on Seattle Investors Club, watch podcast number 63 with Jeff Watson, and then you're welcome to call me. If you call me and you haven't watched it, then I'm just going to tell you to go or listen to it. I'm going to tell you to go listen to it before you call me. So Kevin, you and I are up after this. You have time? Thumbs up if you have time after this. Okay, here we go. All right. Anybody else got anything going on? Any great news? Anything good happened to anybody? Let's kick it off with some good stuff. I got one, but I'll go last. Anybody have anything good happen? Doesn't have to be real estate.
Actually, back to me. We're wholesaling virtually from Vancouver, Canada, and we got our checks. We have this, you know, the bailout from the government, and we got a check and paid directly into the bank account. It was great.
Fantastic. Is that just as a business getting money or as an individual from your government?
We managed to get it a little bit from the business and a little bit from as individuals as well. Excellent.
Anybody here receive their $1,200 or whatever? Has anybody received anything? Yeah? Nothing? What are you guys afraid to show? We've got a lot of names today, no faces. Come on, guys, we want to see you. You look so, it doesn't matter what you look like. There's Christy. I don't even have any makeup on today. Look at that.
Yeah, we did receive our
though.
stimulus.
I did take
I got the $1,000 grant for my business, and then also the economic stimulus for my family.
Great, good stuff. Anybody have a property that they've sold in the last week or two that we don't know about? Any good news on property sales? We've heard about Aaron's deals. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any of you brokers out there have anything good happen in the last week or two?
Well, this is Tanya here. And for Pierce County, it's amazing. We have a lot of sales going on, multiple offers. The market is very healthy here. So we're happy. We're helping buyers and sellers.
So
Stuff. You got something, Wyman?
oh no, sorry.
Okay. And I know, Keith, you just did a like a Facebook Live this morning about the Pierce County market, didn't you? If Keith can hear us, if Keith is still with us.
Yeah, I'm here. I just
Yeah,
had you on
did
mute
you
and I had to
just
get to my phone.
Did you do a Facebook Live this morning about the Pierce County market?
Yeah, it's so hot right now, Pierce County. All counties are, really. It's kind of crazy out there. So, yeah, it was good. Say again?
What was the gist of that? Was it multiple offers and?
Multiple offers, and the cause of the multiple offers right now is because they're still below 1.5 months worth of inventory. Pierce County's at 1.2 and Thurston County's at 1.1 months of inventory. So there's a healthy buyer pool out there, but there's just nothing to flip and buy, and it's pretty uniform across all of Western Washington in that respect. So just
True
still,
that.
it's a great time to list.
Yeah, I just last night I sold or went straight to pending with 3 pre-inspections and 1 waived inspection on my beautiful listing that I have down there. If you guys some of you guys might have seen that, way over the list price. Just kicked butt on that, so that's a good one. What else was I going to tell you? You know what I've done is I have heard, what I do is I like to check in, kind of like a backdoor check-in on what's happening or what's coming up in the market. And one of those people here that can give us some insight on that is Troy. Troy is a home inspector, and it's interesting to talk to the home inspectors and the stagers. I talked to my stager because I have something coming up, and she says, I said, how many calls are you getting or how's it going? And she said she's getting slammed for June. So I think the listings are going to start picking up here in June. Troy, any insight on your part? Looks like you're frozen there. Can you hear us? Jump in when you can, if you can hear us. So I challenge, I would love it if you guys who are brokers and investors that are, call up your stagers that you use and find out from them, because they get the calls first, right? Call those guys up and see how's it going. What kind of appointments, how booked are they? That'll give us a little bit of an indication of what's coming on the market, I think, as well. And I know our lenders out there. What's that?
That's a really good idea. I've never thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who else can we call, right? To find out if anybody has any idea beyond stagers and home inspectors that we can call and check in. I just kind of like to know ahead of time a little bit. I have a listing that's coming up, and it's kind of a home that it has carpets in there throughout the house, and it has hardwood floors underneath the carpets, and the sellers wanted to maybe think about, pulling all the rugs and taking some time. And it's not like it's gonna get that, do a whole bunch of work. And my advice to them was, you know what? We don't really need to do that. I can let everybody know that there's hardwoods underneath the flooring, because it's not gonna change everything. They're either there or they, but what's gonna happen is it's gonna take you 3 more weeks or so to get on the market. And I think it's best to get on right now rather than wait 3 weeks, as I'm hearing from my stagers and some of my home inspectors, as well as Troy can pipe in if he can unfreeze himself there, that right now is such a great time to get on the market if you have to sell something because of the low lack of inventory. And what I think is going to happen is once more and more stuff does start coming on the market, you're going to have a lot of brokers out there being uber conservative with their pricing, and kind of like trying to make themselves look good by listing low, even being super conservative. So when you go and list stuff in the future, very possible as things and more stuff comes on the market that you might get undercut on your listing price. That's just my opinion of what I think, kind of like what happened in, when we had that dip in 2018, where we hit that kind of hard 10% drop. I'd rather see people get on the market sooner rather than later, unless the work that they think they want to do is going to add, some serious value to the house. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anybody have an opinion?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Julie. We've seen properties sell so quickly over the last month and a half. I had a listing down in Graham, and that's, pretty far south into Pierce County. And we ended up with 5 offers, went 21,000 over list price, had several people waive inspection. And I did not expect the house to even appraise for what we went under contract for. And we just got appraisal with no work orders yesterday at value. So definitely agree with your analysis on that properties are selling super fast because of lack of inventory.
Is anybody having any challenges with appraisal? Is everybody doing well on appraisal, and anything come up for anybody on appraisals? Anything short anywhere? Well, that's good news. Keith, are you seeing any short appraisals? If you can hear us? You with us?
I can hear you. What's up?
Yeah. Are you seeing any short appraisals come in?
Not on purchases.
Are you seeing
refinances?
Are you seeing them on the refinances?
Yeah. Well, it's because the homeowner has an unrealistic view of what their house is. So.
9 a.m. in Sammamish.
We can hear you,
One
Troy.
in Tacoma.
Troy's back.
Troy's back.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, Troy.
I'll go on mute. I'm dealing with business.
Hey, Troy, how's the home inspection biz? Are you super busy?
I'm trying to schedule like 4 inspections, so I'll come back.
Okay, well, there's your answer, everybody. And are those investor inspections or regular retail inspections, Troy?
About both. It's split evenly. So if you need inspections, let me know because I'm booking up fast.
Okay. And so for you guys that are out there doing deals right now, flips, where are you getting your loans from? Is anybody what lenders are you using? Nee, feel free to pipe in here. Who's getting hard money loans out there right now? Anybody? Nobody? Nee, are you guys seeing any loans get done? You hearing of loans get done?
We do, but it's still kind of the same as before. I mean, they're getting done. They're just more expensive. They're looking for more reserves, and they're looking for more down payment.
Yeah, I saw, a super experienced investor. That's one of my today post that even the most experienced investors are getting squeezed with their down payments a little bit. So that's starting to happen a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Is anybody else? Anybody looking to borrow any money that's, getting anything better than, 20% down? Okay, no? All right. Hey, Keith, do you want to jump into the forbearance news? And let's get everybody up to speed.
Forbearance news you can use. Woo! Yeah, so FHFA is now, they're just like, your boat is out in the middle of the ocean, and Congress passed a bunch of laws and basically shot like 3 shotgun holes in your boat. And shotguns have those BBs that spread out, so they're just trying to plug all the holes right now. So it's funny that as we evolve through this, FHFA announced yesterday that there's not going to be the standard waiting periods after forbearance and after reinstatement of your loan to qualify for a new mortgage, which is great. Because
tell us what that means. That means that normally you would have to wait 12 months.
Well, yeah, sort of. And the question that no one realizes, or not the question, but the situation no one realizes is it's 12 months from when you reinstate your mortgage, right? So whether you're taking the forbearance and you're going to pay it lump sum, or you're going to do a payment plan or what have you, you got to wait 12 months from when you complete that payment back, right? So now they say that's all out the window. You need to be back paying your mortgage for the last 3 months, and then you qualify for a new loan, whether it's purchase money or refinance. You qualify for a new loan once you get out of your forbearance period. So if you're still in forbearance, I can't do a deal. I pulled credit yesterday on a guy who wants to buy a fourplex, and I'm like, dude, you're in forbearance. And he goes, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that. I'm like, what the, anyway. So if you're in a forbearance plan right now, you do not qualify for a loan. You have to get out of that plan, and you have to make 3 payments. Once we get that documented, you can get a new loan through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is huge.
Which is huge because, right, so they've lowered it from 12 months to 3 months, right?
Yeah, so basically
Should I-
we in essence allowed the 8.9 million people that are currently in forbearance, we allowed them to get back into the market with a 3-month payment history after their forbearance period is done, as opposed to stagnating them for 2 years, basically.
And
That's
I
awesome.
think that Matthew Gardner posted something, who's the local economist that a lot of people follow. He's also Windermere's economist, and he posted something yesterday that 70% of people that took forbearance don't really need it, which is pretty interesting.
Truth.
Right?
Well, it shows you the power of the media, and how when the media says go get free money, all the idiots line up for their free money and don't understand and don't ask the questions. And I just have to stress this. If we're all professionals on this call, you guys got to take it to the next level and understand and reach out to people to understand what these things are before you just tell people, or you do it yourself and go do it, because we're professionals.
Right. I had people posting, I like I said, I saw everybody shouting from the rooftops about the news about this change with the forbearance. And, hey guys, if you ever post something on Seattle Investors Club and it disappears, it's because I delete it. And I'm not going to, sometimes I delete stuff and just, I'm not going to call you and tell you, but I deleted some people posting about the forbearance just for this exact reason, is that, we don't want to shout things from the rooftops without having the details behind it, right? Without having kind of somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, fill us in on a little bit more of the details. Because I feel like all these government things that come out are kind of like he says, it's a plug in a dam, and that we don't really know what's behind that dam wall. It just sounds good. You're like, oh, the dam's plugged, right? But you don't really know what's behind that. And so, Keith, I'm just gonna read off that the post that I seem to be getting a little credit for sharing, but is actually you, Keith, here, Pitch from Loan Depot, that made this great comment that really deserves all the credit for being smart here. And so Keith said, regarding this new news on the forbearance, he says, if you stayed current on your mortgage, you are good to go. If you are in forbearance, you cannot get a loan. If you're in repayment, you must have repaid the forbeared amount or have paid 3 months or more and be on time. Then you can borrow again. If in deferment, you need that to have made 3 or more payments on time if you're in deferment on your loan. And if you are on a trail payment modification, what's that, Keith?
It should have been trial payment modification.
Okay, so you were drinking when you wrote this. So if you
I was just passionate. It was all that passionate energy coming out.
Yeah.
So a trial period is basically when the forbearance repayment schedule would put a hardship on the mortgage holder, and basically put them into a payment shock where the bank knows that they wouldn't be able to pay it. So they modify the mortgage and put them in a trial period for this new modified mortgage payment.
So let me explain that a little bit more. So I went into some sort of forbearance and I tried to do what I needed to do there based on however when they told me I needed to pay it back, and then I couldn't.
Right. Well, not that you couldn't. It's just that the payment schedule for 12 months for you to repay this would be such a financial shock to you that the bank is not supposed to put you in that position as a mortgage holder. So at that point, they have to modify your loan, and they start you with a new hybrid mortgage payment, either based off like a 40-year amortization or what have you. And then you have to go through a trial period, typically 6 months, to show that you are proficient in paying the new required payment. So you either have to complete the trial period or have 3 months on time. So really the thing is, get back to 3 months of on-time payments that we can document, and you're good to go.
But so are you also saying, so if you got to the point where you actually got a loan modification, are you good to go after 3 months or maybe 6 months, or we don't know exactly?
Three.
Three
It's
months.
3 months.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty fantastic. And the gentleman that I was working with yesterday, he did go into forbearance, but he still paid his mortgage payments. So for him, I just need him to call the mortgage bank, tell him to get him out of the forbearance, cancel the agreement, and then I'll go back and get a verification of mortgage showing that he made his payments on time. And that guy can get a loan right now because he never stopped paying.
Well,
So,
there's a very, very good detail point, a little detail nugget there. So if you went into forbearance and you continued to pay, even though, and you didn't miss any payments, even though there's a flag on there that you went into forbearance, you still can't get a loan until you get that removed.
Until you're out of forbearance, yes. Because you got to remember, as a result of the mortgage meltdown, we have an astute ability to repay threshold that we have to underwrite to. And when you're in a forbearance agreement, that agreement by default says, hey, I don't have the means to make my mortgage payment. So, you know, we can't have our cake and eat it too. So you come out of the forbearance. So long as you've made the payments during the forbearance plan, I can get a verification of mortgage and still get you into a loan immediately.
Well, let me give a little more. I want to detail on top one more on that. So what you're saying is, if you went into forbearance, but you continued to pay,
yes,
and you never missed a payment, you still have to wait 3 months.
No.
Okay.
No, you do not.
You can. So if you went into forbearance, you never missed a payment, you can still refinance them right away.
Correct.
As long as they call their bank and do what? Anything?
They have to get out of the forbearance agreement.
Okay. What does getting out of the forbearance agreement look like? What is that? A document or something?
Probably a letter.
Yeah, it's a letter.
So I accidentally got into forbearance just because I made an inquiry. I didn't actually request it, but I made an inquiry and they just put me
You're not alone, Mariska. You're not alone.
Yeah. So, but I continued to make payments, and what I did is I just went back to him and I said, "Look, I didn't ask for this. You know, please take me out." And so I got first a message through my bank portal, and then a few days later, I did get a letter from the bank saying, you know, you are not in forbearance. So. It's super simple.
You got it in the mail?
I got it in the mail.
As well as a notification.
As well as a notification through my bank portal.
Right?
Yeah.
So whether you guys are, you know, right now, as always, actually, it should be, this is a time of service, of helping people, whether you're a wholesaler or a broker or lender, whatever. And why we have this discussion is because you just need to go out and help people, period. Even if you aren't getting the deal. You know, if it's not a deal, like Aaron's a perfect example. He had a wholesale deal, Aaron Royce here, that he couldn't get worked out. And he stepped out of the way rather than drag it on. So I want to give props to Aaron because he did the right thing. And he continued to try and service those people and put him in contact with myself on my team and Mariska that are now going to help these people ideally. And having all this information and knowing all this information, even though it doesn't directly maybe apply to you or your situation, you should be using this to help other people, which then builds rapport, which then, you know, gets you more business, if you guys know what I'm saying. If you're ninja at marketing, this is a wonderful marketing message that you can help people on, right? So just a heads up on that. What a great marketing message to put out. Hey, William, You and me. Hey guys, William's late. He was fixing my cocktails out on the beach and he just was able to join us now. Right?
Yeah, we're obviously both on the same desert island in the South Pacific, hiding out.
Don't tell them our secret, right? That's right.
Nice.
You guys just outed me and William. We're out on the same beach having a little vacay. All right.
That's awesome. Hey, Julie, one more thing as far as from a service standpoint. If you guys haven't opened up an account with the Washington Employee Services for unemployment benefits, you should go establish an account with them, even if you don't need unemployment right now. There is the newest scam going out there is the data from the Equifax breach and the Marriott breach are now coming to full force with unemployment claims being fraudulently opened up under your name. And you won't realize this is happening until you get a letter in the mail with a gift card because the state suspects that there is an issue with who is receiving the unemployment benefit. So you can sign on to their website and create an account so the hackers don't create an account for you and start siphoning off unemployment money from the state.
Valid. I just got the links. There was an alert that was put out on this, and I think I got it this morning. Huge alert. I will post it on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page, all the links that I was given. So you guys can all grab that off there. I don't have it on me right here. I have to go search on where I was alerted of that. Unless anybody else has that same info and they can post it down here in the chat, would be great. But other than that, look back on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page and we'll post it on there later today.
I would greatly recommend doing that as well because this Darren, I just have spent the last 2 days dealing with this myself. Found out that we got a note from, I work at Boeing, my day job, and we got a note from them saying that there had been an increase in fraudulent filings. And so I went in just for grins to see, make sure things were okay. And sure enough, somebody's been collecting unemployment insurance under my social security number for the last 9 weeks. They got like $9,000.
Wow.
So
what do we do about that when that happens? Any insight?
Well, I'm not sure which links you have, but you end up going to the Employment Security Department, trying to create the account, see if somebody else has already associated an email that's not yours, and it'll tell you if it's already been associated or not. And then if it has, it gives you a bunch of instructions on what to do, who to call, and it gives you a phone number to call directly for them, and you file a fraud
claim.
Some sort of a fraud claim. Yeah, there's kind of 2 steps from the Employment Security Department. So
one of those steps is a phone. You file your claim and then you got to call them.
Yeah, to get your account fixed, you have to call them, and they know what's going on, and they'll be able to verify that you're the right person, based on other information that they have. And
well, everybody make sure their phone is charged up because that's going to be a long time on hold right there.
I was on hold for about 45 minutes before they actually answered. Then I had to call 5 times before I got to the point where it would actually let me get on hold.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Edward just posted the website.
What's up, Matt?
The other thing too, just to take this one step further, if you have had that happen, you should definitely download Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion's apps to your phone and lock your credit, because it's absolutely concrete evidence that they have access to your social security number, so they could also open up credit in your name. So just freeze that, and it allows you to control off and on whenever you want to.
So if you lock your credit and you use your credit card all the time, how's that work?
Freezing your credit has 0 impact on established trade lines that you have right now. It impacts any new inquiries for new accounts.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you guys all know what you need to do when you get off this call. That's some scary shithole there, right there. My God.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife is a HR director for an architecture firm, and she's had 6 cases this week come in.
Wow. Yeah. So let me tell you guys, just I want to put it out there, See what we just learned here today about this, not only the forbearance, but this credit thing. If I was in the business of generating leads and I wanted to touch all my clients and my past clients, I would call them up with this information and I would let them know, this is such a good way to touch your base of, your clients with this information, guys. Right here, you come in here every week. We're going to give you like messages to go touch your sphere and your new clients and market and whatever you want. I mean, great stuff, Keith. Really appreciated. Good stuff, right? I mean, Matt and Beth, you guys, that's a good thing. You guys blast that out to your entire list, right? Something like that. That's good tips. Good tips. Anything else? What else is going on? Anybody else want to, it looks like Edward posted the link down in the chat. And I'll also post my stuff on Facebook. Thanks, Edward. We appreciate that. Anybody else want to add in anything today? Any good news? Anything going on? William, what's going on in your world?
Well, City of Seattle passed the second and third ordinances that ban the use of eviction records for 6 months, and also bans late fees for 12 months. The mayor's signing those, so which is disappointing. So we're looking at litigation. So if anybody has or knows anybody with tenants in the City of Seattle, where ideal plaintiffs are people that have elective non-payers, so people that have the ability to pay their rent, but are just for whatever reason are choosing not to. Let me know. We've already got about half a dozen potential ones for that case.
And you're using those people in that situation to combat this new extension?
Yeah, so there's basically, without getting into details, there's two ways you can challenge city ordinances. One's a facial one where RHA would come in, the Rental Housing Association of Washington would come in and say, this is unconstitutional, it's unlawful on its face, and you litigate that way. The other one is doing what's known as an as-applied challenge, which are always stronger because it's saying this individual person has been damaged by this unconstitutional ordinance. And so we're looking more at an as-applied challenge as opposed to a facial challenge.
How many do you need? Do you need a certain number? Can we help you with that?
There is no certain number. The issue is if we don't have a lot, the case could be made moot because the tenant could just pay their back rent. Although it does get to a certain stage where, and actually the US Supreme Court dealt with this absolute issue about a month ago, that if a case gets to a certain point, you can argue that even if it's become moot, in that circumstance, it could be applied in the future, and therefore the court should continue to hear the case. But ideally, if we could get a dozen small landlords that are, credible landlords, small landlords that have tried to work with their tenants, and the tenants are basically saying, yeah, no, we just don't care.
Good stuff, man. Anybody feel like they're having tenants that aren't paying that can pay? Is anybody running into that?
This is Deb Starr. I ran into that last month for the month of May. The tenant asked me if I would give them a break. And I said, well, a break is designed for people that don't have money. You have money. What's the situation? And they agreed to pay the full amount. They were just feeling out the waters. But I think, the city councilwoman in Olympia, I don't know if anybody saw that video. She came out and she said, I have money in the bank and I'm not going to pay my rent. And I think there should be a national forbearance on rent in the country. So she was trying to make a statement, and then her landlord sent her a nice reply, a public reply. And it was basically, that's the wrong position to be taking if you have the money.
There's an interesting, I'll put a link to it. There's on YouTube, but it's from a Netflix comedian of all people did this. What happens if you don't pay your rent? And there's a section on there that explains that it's not just the landlord doesn't get the money. It's the landlord doesn't get the money, and the landlord then can't pay the property taxes, the maintenance, the water bill, the trash bill, and kind of how the system actually works. Which unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people in this country that just don't understand that when we landlords receive rent, that it goes back into the economy in the form of property taxes and debt financing payments and maintenance, et cetera, et cetera.
Are you, is anybody out there, or William, are you seeing people grabbing and taking advantage of the rental assistance programs that are out there? Or are we feeling like unemployment is carrying people right these days? Because we haven't had really bad news about rental collections yet.
No, and I actually have a lot of data on rental collections, and it really isn't as bad as what it's been made out to be. Overall, we're kind of in Washington, the non-payment rate is a little bit under 10%, which is about what it is nationally. As for, are people abusing the rental assistance programs? I don't think so. Most of them have pretty tight controls on having to prove that you don't have employment. One thing I've seen in my own business is my tenants that were W-2 employees and been laid off, they're okay because of the additional unemployment. All of them were making less than $62,000, so they're actually making more money on unemployment. The one tenant that's really struggling is somebody who's a tattoo artist and a part-time musician. His income went to nothing. And the Housing Connector rental assistance program paid his rent in April and May.
Right. Hey, Lika, are you with us? I saw you in there earlier. I don't know if Lika's still with us or not.
King County put up $4 million, or the state of Washington or King County, I'm not sure, put up $4 million for rental assistance, and you could access it through United Way, and the money was gone in no time. So right now they're looking to put more funds up, not 4 million, less than that, but the money is going quick.
Right. Well, we'll be checking in every month on that. Anybody else have anything going on, Matt? What's going on in your world? You guys busier than heck?
Yeah, our new niche is, doing bridge loans, equity loans, giving people second lien positions on properties for, capital improvements or help with the rent situation. So we've had a couple clients that weren't able to pay full rent, so we were able to discount it, a couple $100 to help them out. And so we're working with our tenants as well. But we are getting a lot of inquiries for small bridge loans, $50,000, $100,000 deals, just so people can have a little cash for either reserves or whatever their situation might be. So that seems to be a pretty hot commodity right now. So a lot of people.
And if you guys don't know, this is Matt Flynn with Flynn Family Lending. Definitely needs to be on your team, so to speak. Hey, Matt, are you guys, when you guys are cross-collateralizing for some of these investors, are they still needing to put, 20% down, or are they able to put less down if you're able to cross-collateralize?
It depends on the cross-collateralization. We've actually financed more than 100% plus rehab costs based upon equity and other properties. So we've had one client we just closed on not too long ago where they actually put up 2 properties. We did seconds on both their properties, and we were able to fund the whole project due to their equity position. So we keep encouraging people to use their equity in their other properties to shore up these deals, because we want them to keep their cash in hand so they can do these capital improvements. And so we're educating people on how to use equity in their investment properties and how to leverage that to transition into another property. And so most people just don't know how to do that or understand it. So we're trying to educate people on how to use their biggest commodity, which is their equity in their property, right?
Yeah, let's do another podcast.
Yay! Yay! This is where everybody should be happy.
Yeah, we should do another podcast. I'm gonna reach out to you and Beth, and we'll tee up another one if you guys are up for it.
Absolutely. It's such a great product. So it's just a matter of getting the word out there and educating people, because I don't know how many people we talk to, and they're like, oh, I don't want to put up my property as collateral. So, well, keep your cash, use your equity to help you bridge your next project. But they don't understand. They get scared or lack of knowledge. So when we're able to speak with them and give them a little bit more information and, you know, give them options, they are much more open to these kind of creative thoughts, you might say.
Absolutely. Hey, Joe. Hey, guys. Joe and I are going to work right in front of you here. Will you send Beth? We have Beth. Will you send her the calendar link? See if we can get something booked up. We're going to send you guys our podcast calendar booking schedule.
Awesome.
We'll get you on there.
So what is that? Chopped liver? Why are you sending it to Beth? Just kidding.
Well, because you send it to Matt. I don't know. I think
I'm just kidding. I know Beth.
Yeah. That's right. Hey. Girl power. Girl power. Girl power.
Girl
Hey,
power. Come on, man.
As you notice, I'm trying to skip.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I love you too, Matt.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Nee, go ahead and speak up. Let us know about your chat that you just throw in there.
Yeah, so I think Lake announced it last week, but on Monday we did a webinar with William and Preston Walls to just talk about like what they're currently seeing here in the greater Seattle area. And William actually gave up national insights and data on rental properties too, and some landlord resources. So I posted a link for that in the chat. If anyone wants to watch a replay of that, it was pretty good, useful information for landlords.
Awesome stuff. Will you post that?
It was amazing, guys. I'm here. It was amazing.
Oh, there you go.
You guys post the replay on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page. Would you do that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can do that too.
Awesome. Good stuff.
I wanted to bring up something too. I've been hearing a lot more people. So the SBA EIDL loan, EIDL loans, have started becoming more. I think some people have finally gotten response back from it and actually got their loans approved for it. It took a while, but as people were reading the loan docs, they were very, very hesitant to sign the docs. And so I just wanted to be, make it public for anyone out there that don't just sign the docs for these SBA loans, really read what you're getting into. Specifically for the EIDL, you're essentially giving the SBA kind of a say in how you buy and sell properties, because they're encumbering all of your properties. It's a UCC lien, not an actual deed of trust lien, but you're kind of restricted to certain things once you get the loan for them. Like you have to do accounting a certain way. You have to show them what you're spending the money on, and you have to keep records of it for a rolling 5 years until after 3 years after you finish paying off the loan. And then you have to promise to do certain things like buy American and.
Wow.
Yeah,
Can you find somebody, Nee, that we can co-host the podcast with that's going to spell this all out?
So I found this because yesterday Natalie Colati posted about, kind of shared a post from an attorney that kind of read through the documents.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, just watch out what you're signing for these things, because it could restrict your ability to continue doing investing in the future.
Yep. I had that same conversation with Natalie a week or so ago.
Well, we actually Joe and I recorded a podcast this week with Natalie, and we specifically said that we didn't want to cover the PPP EIDL stuff on the podcast because it's changing so much that by the time that the podcast would be put out, because we book in advance, that it might change. And so maybe what I can do, or one of you guys can do, I don't have to be the only one, I can do it, I love to do it, is do a Facebook Live with her on that or something like that to cover that topic, because that's a serious topic. That's the first I've heard anybody start talking about it. I think what she said actually when we talked to her, was that yesterday, Joe, that we did that? Or yeah, we talked to her yesterday, that she was doing her more deep dive research on the whole topic, and then we would circle back up with her. So Nee, if you want to jump on co-host that with me, I'm gonna see if she can do that. Do you want to do that?
I don't know if there's any kind of conflict of interest with her being my CPA.
Okay, well, we can find that out, but
I can ask her as well. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Good
I got a
stuff.
question, Julie, about the EIDL thing. Just,
Yeah.
you know, for some of us, I mean, they just dropped money in our account and there's no communication about what that is. And I'm just curious, does anybody know, is that just the grant portion of it or is that a loan? Because we got like 2,000 dropped into our business account with no communication. And it's just like, what is it? Does anybody know?
I think, so I don't know, but from what I understand, that has the potential to be the grant portion, but I think you still have to apply for the grant or prove that you're eligible for the grant. And then the loan is a separate matter.
Well, wasn't there that 10,000 up front with the EIDL that they were just giving people and then they lowered it?
Right, so the 10,000 became whatever they decided to drop. Exactly, so it might be
Well, we got a communication. We had the same thing. They just dropped $6,000 into our account. And the communication we received was that this was, they changed it from $10,000 to $1,000 per employee for that first 10,000 emergency money. And that then it would continue on into the full application at some point in the future. So whatever number of employees you reported when you applied for that first 10,000, you should have received that times 1,000.
Right. So do you know, Katrina, was that towards a loan or was that the grant?
They said, yeah, it didn't mention that it was any kind of grant at all. It just said this is going towards your future, you know, as they review the whole application as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I think the grant isn't automatic, Aaron. I think you do still have to justify or you know, qualify for the grant portion, even though they said it was going to be a grant. You still have to kind of show them or demonstrate that you want or need the grant. So
Aren't they also saying, guys, that if you got that money and then for whatever reason you don't qualify or you don't get it, you don't have to give it back? Did you hear that?
I know that was the initial language, and again, I'm not sure if that changed because after I started hearing about the strings, I just said, nah, I don't need it, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I quit paying attention.
Well, we'll do some follow up on that. We'll see if we can deep dive into that a little bit more as well. So we're getting close here to the end. I like to check in with our wholesalers. I see Min's in the middle of my screen here, so I'm going to talk to him first. Min, what's going on, brother? How's it going? Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm driving. I had myself on mute.
Yeah, tell us what's going on in your world. Min's doing marketing and advertising and doing a lot of wholesaling and marketing for wholesales deals. And so I always like to check in with him and we'll hit up Tyree next, see how it's going in your world this last week.
Well, it's going pretty good. I think I wasn't on last week, but since last time we talked, you know, I feel like a lot of times this COVID-19 situation don't even come up in conversations anymore. You know, we're still getting leads that are more I guess less tire kickers and more motivated. You know, we had signed a couple contracts this past weekend. Actually did my first option to purchase contract for the first time since a guy's getting deeded the property, but he doesn't have the right to sell yet. So that was interesting. Oh shoot, I think I just missed my exit. Oh no.
Well, we're gonna have to pick your brain on that, Min, when you're not driving.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be 1 minute late. Missed my exit. But yeah, no, we were asking an attorney to draft up something that just to protect our interest. But he recommended just to you know, because the guy wanted some money, so then we just gave him the money as to purchase the option to buy the property once he gets deeded the house, hopefully soon.
Awesome. Mariska, you want to add anything on that? Not yet? That's super interesting. So you're just basically giving yourself the right to buy it later. No, the transaction's not going to happen now, but it's like getting almost like first right of refusal to buy it, right?
Right. Yeah. We have to watch out for when he actually gets the deed, and then we have to go record the option. So that otherwise, if he sells it before we record the option, then I guess the option is done for, and we lose our money.
Yeah, there's no way to enforce it. I mean, other than the honor system, but yeah.
And why doesn't this guy have the deed?
Oh, it just it's a estate process.
Why doesn't the guy have the deed?
Oh, it's in an estate that they just need to get to the point where he gets the deed. That the estate attorney just have to get to it, pretty much get to that point where he deeds him the house.
Awesome. Ninja tip there. If you guys are listening, that's a spectacular little move there. Good job. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, if he needs some money to get that to the finish line, call him.
Yeah. Hey, introduce yourself. Say
Yes,
hi.
Hello, I'm Ursel Terrell. I'm a licensed real estate broker, but I also work as a loan analyst here at Flynn Family Lending. So
awesome.
Yeah, I work with you guys, and I live down the street, so that's why I'm always here with Matt. So I commute 10 feet to work every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey, I know you guys do a lot of, bridges and seconds. You're not opposed to doing first, are you?
Of course not. We love them. So.
Just thought I'd ask. I have somebody I might refer to you, actually, so.
Well, thank you. That'd be great.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hey, so does anyone have any FEMA contacts?
Not me, but if you need one, I always love a good challenge.
For what, like flood zones, or what kind of FEMA contacts?
No, I need to get in contact of like an OEM department.
Troy, I could probably shoot you a contact for that.
Who is that?
This is Joanna.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So an OEM in the OEM department of FEMA?
Yeah.
Preferably someone who is stationed here in the Washington area currently?
No,
or?
Michigan.
Michigan. Ah. Well, there's a lot of FEMA people in Michigan right now.
I know.
Were you affected by that? By the flood?
No, but I've got a 70% vacant park that they could park trailers on if they wanted to.
Oh,
there
awesome.
you go.
Okay. I'll shoot something over to you, Troy.
Okay, sweet.
Good idea, Troy.
I'm
All
trying.
right, guys. Anybody else before we wrap up today? Katrina, are you still with us?
I am.
Give us an update on Real Kindness. Any good stuff?
Oh my gosh, it's blowing up still. So one of our winners, Dad, How Do I?
Tell everybody what it is first. Tell everybody what it is.
So Real Kindness is a Facebook group which just brings us all in, it helps us all focus on what's really important, right? Is kindness. And so we give away $1,000 a week to whoever submits stories or pictures or videos of catching people doing things in the act of kindness. And whoever gets the most likes wins. And we have several different companies that are working with us and promoting and giving all kinds of prizes as well. And one of our winners, the second week, he was a guy who shot these videos called Dad, How Do I? And so something he'd been thinking about doing for a while. And then when our contest came up, his daughter made him shoot his first video and start his YouTube channel. And that was 4 weeks ago. And he now has 1.2 million viewers. I just got off the phone with him before this call. And he's got an interview with Ryan Seacrest, who's going to be on the Ellen Show. He's got, yeah, it's so cool. And, and he's got all these different things like how to tie a tie, how to change a tire, how to fix a drywall patch, right? And HGTV's contacted him.
Wow.
We were talking about, having him on his Dad, How Do I? Because he's also become a client of ours and he's looking for his first investment property. And so we were talking about, hey, Dad, how do I, right? How do I flip a home, or not necessarily flip a home? How do I get my first investment property, or fix up a home,
Yeah.
or take care of my home, right? Something like that. And what he really wants to do is he wants to be that missing link between the boomers and the millennials, right? Because there's just so much, the boomers don't think the millennials know how to do anything and are pissed off at them for that. And the millennials are pissed off at the boomers because they never taught them how to do it in the first place. So yeah, it's really cool.
Good stuff.
Katrina,
Yeah.
I love that site. I'm a member of it, and the Daddy Do I is phenomenal. But then a lot of just seeing those posts every day just warms my cold little heart.
Aww.
Now I'm gonna go
I'm
look
so
when we
glad
get
that
off.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That makes me so glad to hear. Thank you. Invite your friends.
Yes, if you guys are not on Real Kindness on that Facebook page yet, jump on there, absolutely, and watch for yourself what's going on. Congratulations on that, Katrina. It's awesome stuff. If you ever need if I can help you in any way, put the word out about anything, you let me know. We'll figure something out. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today.
Guys, I have one thing that I wanted to ask you about. So for our next webinar, I am looking at this super cool investment idea. It's agriculture investment. Would you guys like to hear more about it? Would that be something that, you'd want to learn?
You mean like buying farms?
Buying maybe a piece of a farm.
Like shares in a farm. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Okay, cool.
I think so.
Let's have that. Awesome.
Yeah. And then also, we also just dropped a huge Super Ninja podcast today with Scott Smith of Royal Legal Solutions. I think it's called Royal Legal Solutions. Really, really, really good insight on entity structure that I hadn't really heard before with series LLCs. Do you guys know what series LLCs are? This guy totally works with investors. I think some of you might know who he is, but it's a really awesome, informative podcast. And then he actually has a lot of stuff on his website, right, that you guys can tap into. But I highly encourage you to go listen to that podcast. It's a good one that we just dropped with Scott Smith. And I'll leave it at that. So other than that, you guys, anybody else? We're going to count it down here before we wrap it up and I'll get back to work. Kevin, you and I have a date after this for a few minutes, okay? Can you call me? Do you have my number, right? Just call me when we hang up off this thing. All right, guys.
Julie, I just want to point out real quickly that you have inappropriate attire for your locale. I just have to put that out there.
That's true. I do have tank
there
on
you go.
there.
There you
I
go.
got
Throw a beach towel over you and then you're good. But
that's right.
Goose down jacket, not so much.
Well, we're just lucky that this screen came up instead of like the Mrs. Potato Head one.
Well, yeah.
When I borrowed Addison's computer before. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Troy, I just shot you a message to shoot me your info.
Good stuff. If you don't get it, Joanna, I can get it to you as well. So, all good? All right, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thumbs up, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll be here next week. Reach out during the week, and we'll catch up then. And Lisa or Nee, you're going to post your replay of your webinar on SIC, yeah?
You got it.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks.